Hey, this is HQ here. I just wanted to chime in with my thoughts on this Minneapolis shooting, right? We have to be clear, and I'm coming from this perspective. Uh, this conversation is not about hating law enforcement, and it's not about attacking officers, as people. They got a life, they got to do what they got to do. And it's not about excusing disobedience, confusion, and fear in tense situations and things like that. This conversation is about standards, right? And I thought about this because in a society governed by law, no impulse, no power, no narrative, deadly force has a threshold. And when that threshold is not met, no amount of spin can substitute for those facts. So, what happened yesterday in Minneapolis forced us to ask very uncomfortable questions to each other. When the public can see with their own eyes that a threat was not imminent, that she was leaving, why is the federal government insisting that she was a threat? And more importantly, what happens when authority demands belief instead of accountability? Which is what I've been saying all day. According to the statements coming out of the Trump administration, we are being told J.D. Vance was at a damn podium and that Christy knows the officer was acting in self-defense. The driver attempted to kill the officer. The vehicle was used as a deadly weapon. The shooting was justified because the officer felt threatened. That is the official narrative that they're trying to spin to us. But here's the problem. We saw the video, right? We saw the angle. We saw the car direction. We saw the tires turn to the right. The public saw the moment force was used against this young lady. And what people saw does not match what they are being told. This is not a subtle disagreement. This is not a matter of interpretation, alternate facts, or anything like that. This is a direct contradiction between observable realities and official claims. The administration says the driver tried to kill that police officer. But the car was turned away. The wheels were turned away. Distance was increasing, not closing in. The vehicle was not charging towards the officer's body. The officer was not pinned. The officer was not trapped. And this is where the argument collapses that they gave us. Why? These words matter. Words matter. When the Trump administration says the driver tried to kill the officer, that is not casual language that they're speaking. That is legal language. That is moral language. That is permission-granting language. Trying to kill requires direction, intent, imminence, and a lack of alternatives. A person cannot be trying to kill someone while moving away from them unless there is clear evidence they are about to immediately harm someone else. That's not opinion, that's logic. That's how force is evaluated. If the car is turned away, the threat is no longer immediate. And when imminence disappears, deadly force loses its justification. Let's talk about fear, because this is where narratives often find themselves. An officer saying, "I felt threatened," is no legal standard. The standard is, would a reasonable officer believe there was an imminent threat or threat of death or serious bodily harm? Would a normal, reasonable officer believe that? Not fear, not anger, not non-compliance, not confusion. Imminent. Imminent. And imminence is about time and direction. When a car is moving away from you, time increases, danger decreases, opportunity to disengage expands. That is the opposite of imminent threat, right? Right? So when the administration says she tried to kill the officer while the public sees a car moving away, what they are asking the public to do is deny basic cause and effect. Let's be honest about what's happening here, shall we? This administration does not want to argue facts. It wants to control interpretation. They are not saying we will investigate, we will review the footage, we will allow transparency. They're not saying any of those things. They're saying, believe us, trust us, ignore what you see, trust authority. This is not new. This administration has repeatedly attempted to redefine reality, pre-label accountability as hostility, specifically towards the left, and frame criticism as disloyalty. And that matters because narratives determine consequences. If the public accepts the claim that a car moving away is an attempted killing, then any fleeing suspect becomes lethal by definition. Any refusal becomes justification. Any fear becomes permission. That is not policing. That is lowering the bar until death becomes standard. Now let's address the argument some people raise. Well, she didn't comply. He told her to stop. The officer told her to stop. This is critical. Failure to comply is not a capital offense. Confusion is not a death sentence. Fear is not a death sentence. Bad judgment is not a death sentence. The law does not say if someone does not comply immediately, you may shoot them in the face. The law says deadly force is justified only to stop an imminent threat of death or serious injury. That threshold was not met here. Even if the officer issued commands, even if the situation was tense, even if the officer was scared, those facts do not override direction and distance. This is bigger than Minneapolis, though. This is about whether power gets to define reality. Because if an administration can say, she tried to kill somebody, she tried to kill that officer, while videotape shows the opposite, and the public is expected to swallow it, then accountability is gone. And when accountability is gone, standards disappear. Today, it's a woman's car. Tomorrow, it's someone walking away. Next week, it's someone holding a phone. Next week, it's George Floyd. This is how norms erode. Not suddenly, just incrementally. Here's the line that must remain firm, though, right? Deadly force is justified only when the threat is immediate, unavoidable, and directed. A vehicle moving away does not meet that standard at all. Calling it an attempted killing does not make it so. Repeating the claim does not make it so. Authority does not get to override physics. This is not about choosing sides, though. The public saw what happened. The public understands the direction. The public understands distance and moving away. And the public understands when they are being told to ignore reality. We can demand accountability without hatred, without disloyalty. We can demand standards without chaos. We can reject a spin without rejecting law enforcement. But that's the way they're trying to spin it, though. Because if the level of threat no longer matters, if feeling threatened replaces imminent danger, then none of us are protected by the law. And that is why this moment is very, very deeply important.